The video captures a highly dangerous industrial entanglement incident in a production setting. The footage shows a worker attempting to manually pour powdered material from a bag into an operating mixer or industrial blender. As the worker held the sack near the rotating mechanism, the bag was suddenly caught and forcefully pulled into the mixer. This momentum immediately dragged the worker toward and into the rotating machine, creating a critical entanglement and crush hazard. This event serves as a vital warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that machinery be powered down and locked out before adding materials manually if a safe feeding system is not used. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining a safe distance from rotating components and never allowing clothing or materials to contact active machinery to prevent catastrophic entanglement injuries. The video captures a severely dangerous workplace near-miss incident during cargo loading. The footage shows a group of workers actively loading fruit or produce onto the bed of a truck. Suddenly, because the vehicle was not properly secured with the parking brake or chocks, the unattended truck began to roll forward autonomously. The loss of control caused the truck to move unexpectedly, creating an immediate and serious risk of crush or impact injuries for the workers. Fortunately, the workers immediately noticed the movement and quickly jumped off the truck bed to safety, preventing a catastrophe. This event serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that all unattended vehicles, especially trucks being loaded or unloaded, must be securely chocked and the parking brake must be fully engaged. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following vehicle securing procedures to prevent runaway accidents in the work zone. The video captures an extremely hazardous industrial near-miss during the demolition of a structure. The footage shows a worker using tools to strike or dismantle a standing wall section. Due to the structure becoming unstable or compromised, the wall suddenly failed and collapsed violently in the worker's direction. Fortunately, the worker reacted immediately and narrowly escaped the debris field, avoiding a severe incident. This event created a critical crush and impact hazard from large, falling wall sections. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand a thorough structural assessment and the establishment of a clear, controlled felling zone during all demolition work. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining a safe distance from unstable structures and utilizing remote or controlled methods to prevent catastrophic collapse injuries. The video documents an extremely hazardous industrial incident involving the handling of fragile, oversized material. The footage shows workers attempting to move or maneuver a very large, heavy pane of glass. Due to a loss of control, potential rigging failure, or inadequate support, the massive glass section slipped and fell forcefully to the ground, resulting in it shattering into numerous fragments. This event created a critical hazard of severe lacerations from flying debris and impact injuries from the supporting frame. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of specialized, inspected lifting equipment and adequate, trained personnel to maintain stability when handling large, fragile loads. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following safe material handling procedures to prevent catastrophic equipment failure and sharp object injuries. The video documents a severe industrial near-miss where a steel component being rapidly processed lost control and whipped violently outward. The uncontrolled debris flew at high speed toward a nearby worker who reacted instantly and ran to safety just in time. This event highlights a critical struck-by hazard. This serves as a vital warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of physical barriers or safety caging around high-speed machinery, and emphasizes the necessity of maintaining secure exclusion zones to prevent severe impact injuries from flying materials. The footage shows a wheel loader or skid steer being driven into the area, with a female spotter standing directly in front of the machine to guide the operator. Suddenly, the operator lost control of the vehicle and its speed, causing the heavy machine to accelerate rapidly and violently collide with the spotter. This created an immediate and severe crush and impact hazard from the uncontrolled heavy equipment. This event serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand maintaining clear and safe distances between heavy machinery and personnel, especially when a spotter is required. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safe operating speeds, rigorous brake function checks, and maintaining absolute control of construction equipment to prevent tragic struck-by and crush incidents. The video documents a critically dangerous lifting incident involving overhead material handling. The footage shows two men using a crane or hoist to lift a large sign or panel. Due to a failure to stabilize the load or improper rigging, the large panel swung violently and uncontrollably. This motion caused the heavy, rigid sign to collide forcefully with one of the workers. This created an immediate and severe crush and impact hazard from the swinging overhead load. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of tag lines, guide ropes, to stabilize loads being lifted, and the maintenance of a clear exclusion zone around the path of the load. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorous adherence to safe rigging and lifting procedures to prevent catastrophic struck-by injuries from swinging objects. The footage shows the operator maneuvering the machine with a significant load that likely obstructed the forward view. Due to this restricted visibility, the operator collided with an obstacle blocking the path. The impact, combined with the momentum of the heavy load, critically shifted the forklift's center of gravity, causing the vehicle to pitch forward and roll over onto its side. This event created a severe crush and impact hazard from both the machine and the falling load. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that operators travel in reverse when the forward view is obstructed by the load and always maintain clear lines of sight to prevent collisions. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of adhering to safe loading and travel procedures and always wearing a seatbelt to minimize injury risk during an overturn. The video documents a severe industrial accident in a warehouse or loading area where workers were handling stored goods. The footage shows two workers operating near a tall, precariously stacked pile of merchandise. A slight contact or minor force exerted by one of the men during the handling process immediately compromised the stack's stability. Consequently, the entire high stack of cargo suddenly failed and collapsed, completely engulfing and burying one of the workers under the falling product. This event created an immediate and severe crush and asphyxiation hazard from the immense weight of the product. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that all stacked merchandise be secured, stable, and stored within height limits to prevent inventory collapse. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorous adherence to safe stacking procedures and never touching or disturbing unstable loads to prevent catastrophic collapse incidents. The video documents an extremely hazardous industrial near-miss involving the use of a chainsaw. The footage shows a worker operating the saw to cut wood or trim vegetation. Suddenly, the chainsaw suffered a violent kickback, forcing the running blade uncontrollably back and upward toward the operator's body. This event instantly created a severe laceration and impact hazard from the active blade. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand operators use a firm, two-handed grip and maintain proper footing and positioning to manage potential kickback forces. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to chainsaw safety training and always wearing appropriate cut-resistant personal protective equipment to prevent severe kinetic injuries. The footage shows two workers interacting near active machinery. As one worker turned back toward the equipment, their clothing or a body part was suddenly caught and pulled into a rotating or moving machine component, such as a spindle or roller. The force of the machinery immediately dragged the worker into the operating area. This created a severe crush and entanglement hazard from the powerful rotating equipment. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of machine guards and barriers on all rotating parts and absolute compliance with lockout, tagout procedures before any interaction with the machine's moving parts. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of never wearing loose clothing or jewelry and maintaining strict distance from operating equipment to prevent catastrophic entanglement injuries. The footage shows a worker operating or moving within the immediate proximity of a moving robotic arm or automated device. The robotic arm suddenly executed an unexpected or uncontrolled motion, resulting in a severe impact and collision with the worker. This event created a significant crush and kinetic impact hazard from the heavy automated equipment. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of physical barriers, safety interlocks, and strict adherence to the lockout, tagout, LOTO procedure before any personnel enter the robot's work envelope. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining secure exclusion zones to prevent catastrophic impact and crushing injuries from autonomous machinery. The footage shows a group of workers near active machinery or equipment. Suddenly, a metal rod or component was forcefully ejected or snapped loose from the operation, becoming an uncontrolled projectile. This object flew outward and struck one of the workers with significant force, causing the individual to immediately fall and creating a severe impact and blunt force trauma hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the installation of machine guards and shields to contain potential flying debris and maintaining a safe standoff distance from all operating equipment. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following safe work procedures and wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, to prevent struck-by injuries. The video documents an extremely hazardous industrial accident involving a pressurized container. The footage shows a worker approaching a gas cylinder or pressurized tank. Suddenly, the container ruptured or exploded violently, releasing a massive, uncontrollable force. This event created an immediate and severe impact and blunt force trauma hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the proper inspection, handling, and storage of all pressurized vessels and maintaining safe distances from such containers. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following handling procedures to prevent catastrophic equipment, failure, and impact injuries. The footage shows a worker approaching an operating area. Suddenly, a length of metal or a metal component violently launched or was ejected uncontrollably, traveling directly toward the worker's position. Fortunately, the worker reacted instantly and moved quickly out of the path of the projectile to safety. This event created a critical struck-by hazard from a high-velocity object. This serves as a vital warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of robust machine guarding and protective screens to contain potential flying debris. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining secure exclusion zones and always wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, to prevent severe impact injuries from unexpected projectiles. The footage shows a man using the mower on a raised platform or balcony area. While the equipment was running, it suddenly experienced a catastrophic failure, resulting in a violent explosion and fire. The force of the rupture ejected flying debris and components from the machine. Fortunately, the operator appears to have avoided severe injury. This event created an immediate and severe hazard from fire, shrapnel, and impact. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand rigorous pre-use inspection and maintenance of all motorized equipment to check for fuel leaks or mechanical stress. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of adhering to safe operating procedures and maintaining a safe distance from equipment that shows signs of malfunction to prevent catastrophic equipment failure and kinetic impact injuries. The video documents a critically dangerous industrial accident during forklift operation and unsafe load handling. The footage shows a heavy load on the forklift's forks becoming severely unstable and on the verge of toppling. Alarmingly, a worker attempted to use their body to brace and prevent the heavy load from falling. As a result, the cargo toppled and forcefully impacted the worker, creating an immediate and severe crush and impact hazard from the falling weight. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly prohibit employees from manually stabilizing or attempting to catch a falling load. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following safe loading, securing, and travel procedures, and always maintaining a safe distance from unstable loads to prevent catastrophic crush injuries. The footage shows a worker operating near large, active drilling equipment that is moving or being maneuvered. Suddenly, a heavy component of the drilling apparatus underwent a violent and unexpected movement, resulting in a severe collision that forcefully threw the worker clear of the immediate impact zone. This event created a significant crush and kinetic impact hazard from the heavy machinery. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand adherence to red zone safety procedures, which dictate that personnel must never stand beneath a suspended load or within the swing radius of moving equipment. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of clear communication and controlled equipment handling to prevent catastrophic impact and crushing incidents on the rig floor. The footage shows a mechanic working in close proximity to, or directly on, a large truck tire. Suddenly, the tire suffered a catastrophic, explosive rupture, releasing an immense amount of pressure and energy. The force of the blast violently propelled the mechanic away from the work area. This event created a severe blast force and blunt impact hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of dedicated safety cages or restraining devices when inflating or servicing large, high-pressure tires, and always wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously following safe procedures to prevent catastrophic tire failure and pressure-related injuries. The footage shows a worker operating a crane or hoist mechanism to lift a heavy object. Suddenly, the lifting cable snapped or suffered a critical malfunction, causing the heavy load to immediately drop forcefully toward the ground. The load narrowly missed the operating worker, who reacted swiftly and moved out of the impact zone just in time. This event created a severe crush and impact hazard from the falling object. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the regular inspection and certification of all rigging and lifting gear to prevent structural failure. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining a safe standoff distance from all suspended loads and never standing beneath the path of a lifted object to prevent catastrophic impact injuries. The footage shows a forklift operator maneuvering the vehicle with the forks, or a load raised too high, significantly obstructing the forward view. Due to this restricted visibility, the operator collided with or snagged a high storage rack. The impact caused the tall racking structure to immediately fail and collapse, sending materials and the structure itself crashing down directly into the cab area. Fortunately, the operator reacted swiftly and evacuated the cab just in time to avoid being crushed. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that forks be kept low, travel height, when driving for unobstructed visibility and stability. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to operating procedures and maintaining safe clearance from all racking systems to prevent catastrophic structural failure and crush injuries. The footage shows a forklift operator traveling at an unsafe speed while the load was raised to an unnecessary height. Due to the combination of excessive speed and high center of gravity, the heavy load on the forks began to swing and became severely unstable, nearly dropping off the machine. Fortunately, the incident did not result in a collision with any personnel. This event created an immediate and significant hazard of falling cargo, leading to severe property damage and potential impact injuries to anyone in the vicinity. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that loads be carried at the lowest safe travel height, and that operators must reduce speed significantly when traveling or maneuvering in industrial spaces, to prevent catastrophic load instability and overturn incidents. The footage shows a massive tower crane operating on a construction site. Suddenly, the entire crane structure lost stability, likely due to factors like exceeding the load limit, improper rigging, or structural failure, and collapsed completely onto the ground. This catastrophic failure created an extremely high risk of severe impact, crushing injuries, and wide-scale structural devastation. This event serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand rigorous adherence to crane installation, operational, and maintenance standards. This includes diligent inspection of the foundation, wind speed limitations, and strict enforcement of load charts and weight restrictions. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of following manufacturer safety procedures and conducting mandatory, expert-led periodic inspections to prevent catastrophic collapse, extensive damage, and severe personnel injuries. The footage shows a maintenance worker positioned in an aerial work platform tending to an overhead structure, such as a traffic signal. Suddenly, a truck carrying a high load unexpectedly struck the extended boom of the lift. The violent collision severely jolted the work platform, leaving the worker dangerously suspended and creating an immediate fall hazard and swing impact risk. This incident serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the establishment of secured work zones with appropriate traffic control, like barricades and flaggers, when performing elevated roadside work. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of clear communication and awareness of vehicle height restrictions to prevent struck-by incidents with raised lifting equipment. The footage shows a worker positioned on the bed of a flatbed truck or trailer, while another worker is using a forklift to transfer a large, heavy bag of cargo onto the truck. Suddenly, the worker on the truck bed lost their footing or slipped, causing them to fall immediately and sharply to the ground from the height of the truck. This event created a significant fall hazard with the potential for impact injuries, particularly to the head or back. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of fall protection equipment whenever working at heights, including on truck beds, and that personnel must never be positioned on the vehicle during the mechanized loading or unloading process. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of maintaining a clear separation between personnel and active material handling equipment to prevent fall and struck-by accidents. The footage shows a worker walking or standing in the active vehicle path, looking away from the immediate operational area, perhaps looking overhead. Suddenly, a large, heavy-duty truck began reversing without adequate observation or a spotter, and it violently collided with the worker. This event created a severe crush, kinetic impact, and blunt force hazard from the heavy motor vehicle. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the use of a trained spotter or banksman for all reversing heavy equipment, and that pedestrians must maintain constant situational awareness and never enter the blind spots or travel path of operating vehicles. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict traffic separation and clear auditory warnings, like reversing alarms, to prevent catastrophic struck-by injuries. The footage shows two groups of workers operating near two fuel or storage tanks, vessels. Without warning, the vessels suddenly ruptured or exploded, releasing a significant force that violently threw the workers clear of the immediate vicinity. This event created a severe blast force, fire hazard, and kinetic impact risk. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand rigorous pre-work safety checks for all pressure vessels and containers, including monitoring pressure levels and material integrity before any work is performed. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of establishing strict exclusion zones around equipment that presents a risk of rupture or explosion, and ensuring clear evacuation routes to prevent catastrophic blast injuries. The footage shows a worker performing welding or repair work on a truck fuel tank or a similar storage vessel. Due to the presence of residual vapors or combustible gases inside the container, the vessel suddenly exploded and ignited, releasing a massive blast force and fire hazard. Fortunately, the worker escaped the immediate vicinity without apparent serious harm. This event created a severe blast, fire, and kinetic impact risk. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the thorough cleaning, purging, and gas-free testing of any container that held flammable materials before any hot work is performed. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to confined space and hot work procedures to prevent catastrophic explosions and burn injuries. The footage shows a man securing or tying down cargo on the truck bed. Suddenly, a heavy bag or unit of cargo on the truck fell violently and collided with the worker. Fortunately, the impact appears to have been minor, and the worker avoided severe injury. This event created a significant struck-by hazard from falling materials. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand that cargo be secured from movement before workers climb onto the truck bed for final inspection or lashing. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of rigorously checking load stability and using appropriate securing measures to prevent catastrophic cargo shift and impact injuries during loading or transportation. The footage shows multiple workers climbing or standing on an elevated ladder or makeshift platform. Suddenly, due to excessive loading, improper securing, or structural failure, the ladder or platform apparatus disengaged or slipped from its anchor points, resulting in the workers falling sharply to the ground from height. This event created a significant fall hazard and blunt impact risk. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand the inspection of all climbing and elevated work equipment for stability and weight limits before use. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of securely tying off or anchoring ladders, adhering to load capacity restrictions, and using personal fall protection systems whenever working at heights to prevent catastrophic fall injuries.